Good morning. Hey, I wanted to take you through a little, I guess, after activity stretching exercise. So this can be done after you're hiking or if you've done a long bike ride. My rule of thumb is for every hour or for every 30 minutes of activity that you have a 5-minute stretch routine afterward. And this is a deep stretching time. And of course, with each activity that you do, whether it's hiking or biking or running, you want to warm up. And warming up is a little different than cooling down. So the warm up involves warming the bodies and doing activity that is like what the activity you're doing. So if you're running, then you'll want to walk. You want to wake up those big motor muscles. Now on the other end of the spectrum, when you're finished with your hike, your walk, whatever it is you're doing, your biking, then you'll want to stretch out those muscles that were worked so that they don't get so tight that we lose the elasticity. Part of the deep stretching also affects your fascia. So the fascia is that connective tissue that surrounds all muscle and actually connects muscle to muscle and muscle groups. They are all over the body and wrap every single muscle that you have in your body, and including some of the more fibrous tissue, like your IT band is a very tough fibrous tendons and things like that. So what we'll do is just do a little stretch routine here. If you're coming off of a hike or a bike, I would recommend that you use your bike as a tool. I'm using a chair in place of that or in lieu of that. And you could also use your car door, anything of that's in the vicinity to help facilitate the stretch for you. So some of the things that get tight are the quads, the hamstrings, and the hip socket. When I did my hike to Mount Blanc, we did 100 miles, 10 miles a day. And every day I did stretching after the hike. But when I came home after that trip, I really found that my flexibility in my hips, hamstrings, and thighs had gone by the wayside. And yoga, some yoga practices and classes, some deeper, longer classes was really helpful to open that. So when we get tight hamstrings, or quadriceps, hamstrings, and hips, our low back suffers. So from low back, really pay attention and do these exercises to help mitigate that. This will be a 10-minute stretch routine. So if you're doing an hour, be the minimum that I would suggest or recommend that you do after you get off your bike, and we'll actually time it so that we don't go over that amount. I like to be keeping my word. And then you can just start this video anytime, anywhere, and have it at the ready for you when you need to stretch. Okay, kitten is going to be let out. Otherwise, he'll be talking through the whole video. So here we go. Just getting off. Shake it out for one. And then we'll start with a calf stretch. You're going to scoot back, lean on your car or something that's sturdy and standing, and place one leg forward and coming into a lunge. I'm doing a deep stretch for the Achilles tendon. We'll move that. My head's going to be out of the picture for a minute. You'll hold for about 30 seconds. 90 seconds does a reset, 30 seconds is a minimum. You can hold these longer, but not shorter. And then bend the back knee, get a different section of the soleus, the calf muscle, the sole of the foot as well. And then we'll switch sides. Take it all the way back. Stretch the shoulders, especially if you're biking. Your shoulders are going to be rounded and hunched over a bike for long periods of time. You want to release the back, lengthen the spine, and then step the opposite leg forward. It doesn't take a lot of time to do this. It really just takes some effort and some awareness. And then we'll bend, back knee. Deeper stretch right there. And then we'll switch the legs again and come into an even deeper stretch. So one hand on the floor, or if you want to keep one hand on a chair or the bike or whatever, I like that's the floor. And I'm just going to twist. This really starts to help release some of the tension built up that holds your leg together and your hip in place when you're doing these activities like running and biking and hiking. Super important. It feels so good to release that. Yeah, and then bring both hands to the floor while we're on this side. Step your back foot in and take a pyramid pose. I'm going to flex the toes. Press the heel in so I get an even deeper, longer stretch on the back side of the body. This can be done where you're upright a little bit more. So it's similar to our previous stretch, except we're not bending the front knee. We're actually straightening it and using it as a catalyst to work the hamstring a little bit. And then come back to the center, switch to your side, drop a hand, and then rotate open. The other side. That just feels so good. You can take this as deep as you like to really start to open up all the quadricep that maybe has worked during your activity. Bring it back to center, step the back foot in, pyramid pose. I like to flex the toes upward. That gives me a deeper stretch through the calf and hamstring, if it's more comfortable. And then come back up. Step forward. We'll go to a split side here, toes out. Bring an elbow to the knee and just open that inner thigh a little bit deeper. Again, I'm going to flex the toe. Point and flex and hold for a period of time until I feel that gentle release in the inner thigh and maybe some lengthening. We want to get to the point where we've got support in our mobility and the joints. So not only do we have the strength, but we have the mobility. And this is very helpful. And then come to the center. Turn the toes forward and take a forward fold. Wide angle, and the head just comes to the floor. You're going to let it rest and dangle a little bit. Hands on the ankles. A little bend in the knees if you'd like, and straighten. Bend and then straighten. And this is not going to feel that great the first time that you do it, especially if you're out of practice or have not done a lot of quadricep and hip openers. So let's jump the feet together and come back to standing with one hand on a chair. Take a foot behind you, place the hand in the foot, around the foot in the hand, and then press. Keep the thighs parallel. Bring the heel in a little bit more forcefully. So I'm really drawing the heel into the glute, dropping the knee. We need this range of motion in the knee, and that we should have enough length in the body to hold the heel all the way to the glute. Feel that opening stretch. And I don't mean like this, right? So standing up tall, let's switch sides. Ooh, it's a big muscle and it takes a lot to stretch this one out. You definitely want to hold it for a bit longer So we're already halfway through, and it didn't take that much time or effort, but it's very good so that your hips don't stay ratcheted up after you've completed your workout or your activity. This could be basketball, baseball, running, hiking, anything, swimming. Swimming has its own benefits. I think in the water you get some stretching. So right here, we're doing a figure 4. We're going to cross right ankle over left and then sit back. It's important that you don't tuck the hip, but that you push the hip out, press the ankle into the thigh, and that really has an opportunity to open up the hip. I'm keeping the hips level. You don't want to sink or raise, but just keep the hip level. And then come back out, switch sides. Again, we're trying to release any tension buildup from an activity at the end. So we lengthen the muscle. This is the hips, hams, and thighs. It keeps it nice and open, allowing you to do the activities for longer and really less opportunity for injury. And we keep those muscles supple. Then come back to center. We're going to cross one leg in front of the other. Try not to keep the feet equal, but one in front of the other. You've got some space there. And then you'll just take a forward fold here. And rock side to side, maybe even take it in a circular motion. If your IT band is really tight, this is going to help release it. If you've got runner's knee, you know to strengthen and lengthen the muscles that surround the knee is going to help. Runner's knee is also a sign of a weak hip, and it also can be a sign of a tight quads or tight hips as well. To strengthen and lengthen. This is the lengthening that we're doing right here, head to shin. And then we'll come right back up, take the back leg and just extend it. And then take the arm up and over, especially if you're doing biking. We want to elongate through the side body, release some of the tension that was built up. Take the hands behind the base of the spine, interlace the fingers, and then just extend the chest up. And of course, I'm bending the knees so that you can see my head right here. And then release. Should feel a little bit more open in the shoulder. And then we'll take the second side, opposite leg in front, then in the forward fold. Again, take it in a circular motion. Sometimes I like to bend the knees and then straighten. And take the head towards the floor. Inhale, bend, flatten the back, exhale, straighten, what it looks like from the side. Inhale, bend, the knees separate, exhale, straighten. They come behind each other. Oh, that feels really lovely. And then come back up. The back leg is going to shift a little bit further, and then you'll take that into a side bend. And then come back to center. Release it, shake it out. And if you really want to go the extra mile, holding on to something, just take a swing of the leg forward and back. This is more of a warm-up. I like to do this in a warm-up, but also at the very end, and then side to side. Just gets my joints a little bit looser, and then switch sides. And this direction. We'll finish with the forward fold. Just make sure the hamstrings are a little bit more open. Inhale, flat back. Fold in. And then release. And there you have it. You should feel fantastic every time you have a beautiful opportunity to hike or bike or do those activities we love. Stay limber, stay healthy, stay strong, and see you later.